So now we've been looking at methods for a while, so I'm going to talk you through one example, and we're going to use the eye as our example. So what I want you to do is I want you to try and work it out as we go along. Maybe write the code. It's part of your labs anyway, so it kind of gives you a little bit of background and a little bit of an idea of where to start. Okay. So we're going to build one eye, then be able to build 2 eyes, 6 eyes, 60 eyes, whatever it is you want. So we'll have a look. So if we want to write the code for one eye, what would we have to do? So let's have a look here at this. So we're going to have a size of our canvas. We're going to have a color maybe of the background, or it's going to be the default, whatever we want to go for. And then you can see the eye is made up of 3 circles. So there's a white circle, a black circle, and this little guy here is another white circle. And remember, order is important. So because we want to have the white, the black, the white, we have to draw the white, the big white eye first, then the black eye, and then the small. Okay, so is that the iris, the pupil, and this is the little spot, I don't know what it's kind of like. Yeah, I don't even know what we call that. So you can tell me in Slack if we know what this is, like a shadow or of it. So we're trying to draw our eye. So if we were to draw the small one first, then the next one, then this, we'd only see the big white eye. And what we might do is we might do that as an example just to see in a second. So we draw for 1. And then once we have the code written for 1, it's very easy to change it to 2, to change to 6, to change to 60, whatever it is we want to do. So let's have a look. So this is our code for drawing one eye. So we have our setup and we have a back, and we're saying we have no stroke. So we don't want a black line around our circle. We're making our background a kind of a grey colour. Then we have fill 255. We said when we only pass one parameter to a method, or it means in this for fill, it means that it's going to produce a grey colour. We're drawing our circle. So our circle here is 50, 50. So that's going to be in the centre. So X is 50, Y is 50, and then our width and our height. So we could have had that as a circle and then just the diameter. We're going to fill black because we're going to draw this black one here. And then we're just putting it off center. So the center of this black one is 10 more along the X line. It's still on the same Y. So it's still down from the top the same amount. And it's smaller. It's 30 and it's 30. This one here, then we're filling it white again. And then we're looking here and we're filling this one here 50, so whatever the center was, plus 16, so we're going forward a little bit. This one here is 46, so it's different. It's not on the center, it's up a little bit. So it's actually the 50 minus 4. So we could have put that there, 50 minus 4. And then we're making it 6 and 6. So the reason why we have the 50 plus 10 and we didn't just say 50, 60 is that I want you to see how the relationship between the first value we pass in, the value for X we pass in, the relationship between the value for Y. So when we say Y minus 4 or whatever it is, that's going to be for it to go back up a little bit. So we're trying to show you that when we hard code and then when we introduce variables and show the relationships. So let's have a look and see. So again, if we had 2 of them, we'd write the code for the right eye and we'd write the code for the left eye. And then if I wanted to have another 4, I'd have to write the same amount of code again. So all the time, if I'm hard coding, I'm writing the same code over and over again. So that's why when we're going to repeat the line 6 times or 60 times, or 100 times, we write a method. And we call the method, we pass it the information it needs, and hey presto, it draws the I where we expect it to be. So here is our method call. We're calling I. I expects us to pass it two values. We're going to call the first one X and the second one Y. It returns nothing, so it's void, and you can see here we don't need to worry about that here. So we're filling it white, because remember that's the outside. We're drawing our ellipse. So if we go back to the hard code, you can see that this is our X, this is our Y. This was our X plus 10 and our Y. This was our X plus 16 and our Y minus 4. So this is where the relationship began. So now let's have a look at how we're writing our code here. So again, we're passing in the X and the Y. So that's where the center it is going to be. So X and Y. And then it's 60 and 60 because that's how big we want our ellipse to be. Then we're filling it black. And we're saying whatever X was, add 10 to it. Y stays the same. And it's 30 and 30. And then we're filling it white. And then we said wherever X was, add 16. Take 5 away from Y. And it's 6 and 6. So now we can pass in different values for X and Y. And it will draw the circles in relation to these values here. So now if we pass in a value for 65 and 44, it'll draw our I here. And if we pass in 20 and 50, it'll draw this I here. Okay. If we pass in it 6 times, it'll call I 6 times with the different information. Okay. So what I would say to you is, could you change this to a for loop? What's the relationship between these numbers? So if I want to draw all these I's, so this is the 65, 44, they're all at 65, so they're all in X65, and there's 44, 74, so there's 30, so 44 plus 30 is 74, plus 30 is 104. So I could draw this I in a loop and just change this value by 30 each time. I can draw the second I is always 20 because it's in a line here. And again, it's 50 plus 30 is 80 plus 30 is 110. So I can put 2 lines of code inside a for loop, and I can call it 3 times. And then, so that's for each pair. And then I could draw 100 or whatever it is I want to draw. So what I want you to do is have a look at this code, have a look at drawing them all individually, and then work on and see, can you introduce a for loop or a while loop. Oops, I was too big there. A for loop or a while loop or a do while, whatever it is that you feel most comfortable with. Okay, have fun. So again, programming is all about practice. So I want you to practice as much as you can. Have a look at different ways of writing the code. Have a look at where you feel most comfortable. Ask lots of questions. And again, you're learning. Each time you learn something new, you're building on another piece of knowledge, building on another piece of knowledge, building on another piece of knowledge. And by the time we're finished, at the end of our 12 weeks, you'll be masters. So keep going and keep practicing. Talk soon.